Good evening, everyone. You're in the spotlight with Brian Gardner for this Wednesday, August the 23rd, 2017. Good to have you all here for our first and only show of this week, joining you on the special Wednesday show. It's been a long time since we did a show that wasn't a Tuesday or Thursday show. I mean, I'm trying to remember when it was. I want to say it might have been Thanksgiving of last year. I'm could be wrong about that. I don't remember if we did anything in the spring like this, but you know, but yeah, I mean, obviously we did football Fridays during the what do you call it, during the winter and fall and winter. But anyway, yeah, so here we are on a special Wednesday show. Hope your week has treated you well so far. As always, before we get going, let me remind you all the ways in which you can interact and contribute to the show. Have your voice heard by emailing us at itspotlight411@gmail.com. You can also follow us and tweet us at itspotlight411. Please remember to use the hashtag ITSpotlight411 for anything you tweet regarding our show. And, of course, you can find us on Facebook. Just search for In the Spotlight 411 on Facebook, and then like our fan page once you're on it or once you find it. Okay, so a couple of things here off the top. Obviously, we had a last-minute postponement delay yesterday. Basically, what happened, folks, is this one's pretty self-explanatory. We had some rough weather in this area yesterday. And, you know, it's one of those things where obviously our connection's never the best on here. You've noticed that, and you probably noticed that here tonight. But, you know, basically with the weather that was coming in, with everything that was going on yesterday, it would have been kind of a rough go. So rather than, you know, risk it and try and have a show where you guys and girls out there barely hear us and all that, I made the decisions to move it to tonight. Felt like it was the better alternative. So that's why we did it that way. So I apologize for, you know, it being last minute and everything, but we did what I thought was best for the show in that situation. We haven't had to do that in a while. You know, we've been doing a good job this summer being on time and staying the schedule. So, but I felt like it was something that we had to do. I felt like it was in the best interest of the show. So, that's why we did it. So hope I didn't inconvenience too many people here. And I don't anticipate it happening at least next week or, you know, obviously these things can happen anytime, but I don't anticipate any more delays or anything like that. So at least in the near future anyway. So that's a good thing, obviously. And obviously you can't help the weather. Things can pop up. But as far as anything planned on our end, I don't anticipate anything. So that's always a good thing. I didn't anticipate anything last week, but, you know, things come up. So, all right, so as we start this week, this is our only show of the week. So we have a lot to do. We have a lot of sports stuff to get to. It's funny. Last night, you know, obviously I had a show prepped because I thought we were going to have a show until around 8 yesterday. But, you know, I had a show prepped and ready to go. I had my notes ready. I had everything we were going to do, everything that was going to happen. And then, you know, we get a curveball in the NBA. Just when you thought the NBA offseason had settled down and you thought maybe nothing more was going to happen despite all the rumors, and look what happened. So I had to kind of scrap everything. And, you know, we didn't have a lot to talk about. You know, we're just going to do some baseball, a couple things there, and that was going to be it. Now we have some NBA to get to on top of the baseball. So we will do that tonight as we talk about the Kyrie Irving, Isiah Thomas trade. I have quite the strong reaction to this trade. Quite the strong reaction to this trade. We'll get into that. We'll get to the baseball stuff that I want to touch on here. A couple of things that you all have asked us about and want us to talk about. So we'll get to all that tonight. Obviously, we got some entertainment stuff to get to, box office. We're going to get to one entertainment story. There's a couple entertainment stories we've been putting off, but we have a lot of wrestling stuff to do, so I don't want to go into it tonight. But there's one entertainment story I want to get to because it's just something that a lot of you have been asking me about today, and I made it. It's a late ad, so we'll get to it. I'm sure Mike will have some TV highlights. And then we'll do some wrestling. We'll talk about the fallout from Summerslam and Raw and SmackDown and NXT and all that good stuff. All here tonight on the program. So that's what's coming up tonight. What about next week? One show, just like we were planning to do this week, it will be on Tuesday. Now, obviously, it wasn't on Tuesday this week because of a last-minute delay, but next week it will be on Tuesday. So please, 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 please note that next Tuesday, which is the 29th, will be our next show. It'll be our only show of next week, obviously because of Labor Day weekend. And that will also be the last week of our summer schedule. The week after, we will go back to our normal schedule of 2 shows a week. Now, next Tuesday is a big day because that is the day that 2 things crucial to the TV Awards are due. First, the winning ballots for this year's In the Spotlight TV Awards are due at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. So you want to make sure you get those in. The majority of you actually already have, so that's good. But we still have some out there. So the deadline is this Tuesday, the 29th at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for those. Also, for those that are participating in the live voted awards, the nominees for your nominee submissions for those awards are also due this Tuesday, the 29th at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So please get those in. Again, all that can be only done by email only at itspotlight411@gmail.com. Very important that you remember. You can ask questions on Twitter and Facebook, but no submissions by Twitter and Facebook. So, so make sure that you note that. So all that those 2 deadlines are this coming Tuesday, the 29th, 9 o'clock from Eastern Time. And then the first week of September, as I said, we go back to normal schedule. 2 shows that week, Tuesday and Thursday, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. They will be very big shows. That Tuesday, I always call it our welcome back show, our welcome home show. You know, the summer and everything, people are in and out. So it's kind of like our welcome back show, getting back into the swing of things. We'll have all the big stuff that we have to do, box office, BTV highlights, sports, wrestling, all that on Tuesday. And then that Thursday will be our TV Awards. And you all know what that means. That's obviously a very big show. We'll also have a lot of people have been asking me. I've been teasing throughout the summer some announcements and stuff. We won't be doing them that week. We have too much to do that week. But the week after, you'll be hearing some things about what's going to be coming up and what we're going to be doing and all that kind of good stuff. So busy times are coming here as the summer winds down and everybody kind of gets back into routine and kids go back to school, all that jazz. So, yeah, so there you go. So I just wanted to address all of that here off the top. So keep all that information in mind here as we go along over these next couple of weeks. As my co-host joins me, Mike's in the spotlight. He's eating something. Mike, what are you eating?
French toast crunch. Some cold coffee.
Okay. Sure. Okay. I don't know. You always like to talk about what you're eating, so I figured I might as well, you know, whatever.
Trying to do the 2017, Brian. I'm trying to do the 2017 Best of Syracuse voting.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
Best dog park. Is it Jamesville? Is it Jamesville Beach off the leash dog park? Wegmans dog, good dog park at Onondaga Lake Park? Or Rotary Canine Corral at Chapman Park?
I'll be there. You're on your own.
I don't own a dog. I own a cat.
I don't take my dog to any of those places, so I can't help you.
Probably this one because I don't really like off the best animal whisperer. All right, this person seems very nice.
Well, then go with that.
Just finished it. I finished
All right.
the Best of Syracuse.
So we have a lot to do.
So
let's get into
welcome.
it.
Best of Syracuse, Syracuse Due Times. In the
Now,
ballot. I
hey,
wish I could have
you're doing
written
your
us
part.
in for best whatever.
You're doing your part, Mike. You're doing your part. All right, so let's get into now. I don't want to go to the sports stuff first because here's the thing. I told you I have a very strong reaction to this Irving Isiah Thomas trade.
A record for
Go
best
ahead.
pizza. That's my favorite nominated.
You're breaking up. You know, your sound's kind of in and out.
Very strong reaction.
Yeah.
Boston just effed themselves in the A.
That's there. Yeah. That's the short answer. But
Can
boy,
you hear me now?
yes, I can. You're good now. Thank you. Um, yeah, I'm gonna. I have some things to say. I won't say I have a lot to say, but I have some strong opinions on this. Um, and letting it settle for the last 24 hours hasn't helped, to be honest, because I don't get it. I get it for Cleveland. Don't get me wrong. I completely get it for Cleveland. That I get. But boy, are they probably laughing their rear ends off to the bank on this. But we'll talk about that. I want to save my voice because of that.
Great move for Cleveland.
Oh,
Great move for Cleveland.
Oh God, not even. Oh, it's a remarkably good move for Cleveland. And we'll get into it, but boy, Cleveland couldn't have dreamed for better, in my opinion. I mean, even if they went and got Anthony, I don't even know, because they got more than just one player here. But we'll talk about it. It's oh God, it's got so many layers to it, and it's such a curveball. Even though the rumors were there, I never thought I'd actually see the light of day. I can't believe it actually happened. I can't, but I never did. That's why I never brought it up on air. I didn't think it was going to happen. I heard the rumors. I just didn't take much merit in it. But anyway, we'll get into it. First off, we're going to start entertainment tonight because I figure it's an easy thing to do.
French toast crunch.
You're so random tonight. It's unbelievable.
French toast crunch is delicious and everybody should eat it. But anyways, entertainment.
All right, so
I'm going to get even more random later.
Well, okay, so as it's been the case the last couple of weeks, we have a box office beat that doesn't have a lot going for it because it's been a rough couple of weeks here. I'm not going to say that it's been nothing but flops here. Obviously, in the eyes of our prognosticators this summer, every week's been a flop. But it hasn't been the last 2 months have been kind of rough here pretty much since Spider-Man. All right, I know Dunkirk's done well. Annabelle Creation had a decent opening. This past weekend actually wasn't a bad weekend. All right, The Hitman's Bodyguard did pretty well. What about in the range? I thought it could hit 20, 25, maybe 30, and it fell in 21.3, which is good. It's got a $30 million budget. It's fine. Annabelle Creation crashed like you thought it would, like any horror movie would, and 55%, but it's still pulled in that range of 12, 13, 14, 15 million. At 15.6, not too bad for a second week. Again, its budget's really low at 15 million, so no worries there. Logan Lucky did not open strong, but that was the concern you had with that movie. All right, more on the smaller budget side. 29 million, made 10.3 million so far. Great cast. But again, it kind of came out the wrong weekend. It came out in the same weekend as Hitman's Bodyguard, which kind of hurt it a little bit. Made 7.6 million, which is, I thought it would do a little bit better. I thought maybe 10, 12, maybe 13, a little higher than that. Again, though, competing audiences. I know one was R-rated, one wasn't, but still, it's competing audiences. And this time of year, again, we're getting towards the end of the summer. People aren't thinking about movies. We know how the summer box office has been over the last 15 years, where once you get to about the second week of August, people have checked out of the box office. They're done. Other than people that maybe have had a lot of movies built up they haven't seen and are going out now, but there's not a lot of people going to the movies. That you're not getting a lot of people in the seats. It's just the way it is until about the second week of September, and when people start to pay attention again, and then it builds itself back up. But right now it's quiet, and Hitman's Bodyguard did well. Annabelle Creation fell off, but still did okay given a second weekend. Logan Lucky, not so well, but again, I think that was expected almost. We thought this was a possibility is what I'm trying to say. So Dunkirk held pretty well as it has in its fifth week, 6.6 million. Nut Job did okay for its second weekend. I mean, it was a better hold than expected, I think. Well, not necessarily. I think we expected to do a little bit better, but I guess all things considered, it's okay, given that you figure a lot of kids aren't dragging their parents to the movies right now. you know. But anyway, all in all, at the box office, 5 movies over 5 million. It's not a great weekend, but again, given the circumstances, given the time of year, all that kind of stuff, you take it. You take it. You take what you can get at this point. So it's been a quiet few weeks here. And we talked about it. And in a couple of weeks, we'll do our summer box office wrap up, and we'll talk about really what has been an average summer. I know people are going to say it was a bad summer. It did peter out. It's been quieter since the second week in July than we probably remember it being over the last couple of years. But if you look at the first 2.5 months, okay, and average out the latter half of the summer, it ends up being an average summer. It's just that we've been spoiled by the last couple of years. But I digress. Quiet weekend. You tip your hat to Hitman's Bodyguard. They were the big winner. Annabelle Creation was, I guess okay. And Logan Lucky. It's unfortunate, but what are you going to do? And Dunkirk keeps holding well. So that's really all you got here. For last weekend. This weekend, what do you got? Not much. Not much. It's not. Oh boy. You have 3 movies, all of which I don't even think really classify as major releases. The biggest release is an animated film from the Weinstein Company, opening into 2,000 theaters. It's called Leap, featuring the voice talents of Elle Fanning and Kate McKinnon. It's already made $58.1 million overseas, so it's off to a good start there. Will it do well here? Probably not. Maybe you figure with that theater count, and given the time of year it is, maybe 10, 11 million at tops. That might even be pushing it. So, and then you got another movie called Birth of the Dragon, an action film from B.H. Tilt, opening in 1,600 theaters. Doesn't even have a rating yet. Again, probably under 5 million here. 1,600 theaters, maybe. Somewhere under 5 million, 4 million, 3 million, something like that. And you have a drama from Sony Columbia opening in 800 theaters called All Saints. It's a Christian film. You got another movie. If it makes $1 million or $2 million, consider yourself lucky. Other than that, you have an expanding release in a crime drama from. Oh gosh, what?
All Saints.
Yeah.
Is that a biopic about every single saint?
Well, it's a Christian film.
Because if not, it sounds like it. If not, it sounds like a team that we both beat separately in grammar school.
Classified as a drama. It's PG. It does not look like a movie about the Saints, Mike. It says All Saints. It's not. I don't think it's a biopic. So, but yeah,
is the movie about a basketball team that lost in grammar?
No,
Does
Mike,
it look like a biopic about a basketball team that lost in grammar school?
No, there's no sports at all.
Should be. We kicked their ass.
Stroke that.
No, my team did. Your team probably did.
If it makes 1.12 million, you should be lucky.
I mean, good for them. But
wow, Mike, jeez. Oh, I'm gonna get some mail. Thank you. He doesn't mean that. Trust me, he doesn't mean that. Anyway, wow. Talk about putting your foot in your mouth.
What?
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, what?
I drank coffee, but
it
said I'm not opposed to Christian films. However, I am not interested in this movie with sports or epics. Good day, sir.
All right.
Am I still breaking up?
Every once in a while you are. But all right, so expand. Other than that,
delay.
No, you're not in a delay. You just keep breaking up every once in a while. Okay, so you have, other than those movies, you have an expanding release in Good Time, a crime drama from A24 opening. It's expanding nationwide. I don't know how many theaters yet. Starring Robert Pattinson and Jennifer Jason Leigh. It's R-rated. Again, I wouldn't expect much from it. Maybe 3-4 million. So a lot of these movies are gonna be under 5 million this weekend. The only one that has a chance at being above it is Leap. Even then, you might be talking 7, 8, 10 million tops. So this weekend, in my estimation, we'll see probably Hitman's Bodyguard. You know, remember how last weekend at the end of August, you had a couple movies like playing out at like 15 million or below? That's what you're on tap for this weekend, and probably next weekend as well. So I'm going to say Hitman's Bodyguard, 13, 14 million. Taking number one again. I'm going to say, boy, it's going to be tough to pick number 2. It'll probably just be Annabelle Creation by default, even though it's going to fall like crazy. Probably at 7 million. Logan Lucky and Dunkirk will probably be both around 5 million. I'll throw Leap up there at 6-7 million, probably right under Annabelle Creation. And then Logan Lucky, Dunkirk around 5 million. Everything else will be under 5 million. Short and sweet. There's nothing else to really say. Because quite frankly, it's just not a big week. The next 2 weekends are going to be rough. In fact, I don't even know if I'm going to do a box office beat next week because there's even a lot to talk about. So, but yeah, it's that time of year. That's the way it is. We've been following Wonder Woman because it's been the story of the summer as far as box office goes. Wonder Woman is now second on the 2017 domestic gross.
Let's not kid. You're going to.
Second on the domestic gross list for 2017. It has recently passed Guardians of the Galaxy for that title. It's at 404.2 million domestically. It's not going to catch Beauty and the Beast at 504, but its second is pretty good. It's now standing at $800.3 million worldwide, 396.1 overseas here, which is, again, tremendous. It's had a great run. You bodes well for the sequel. That's all I'm going to say about that. But as far as its worldwide number, where it stacks up versus everybody else here, believe it or not, Despicable Me 3 worldwide is the one that's probably had the best summer. It stands right now, I'm looking at the numbers here, at, where is it? I just thought, at 39th, 950 million. So that wins the summer as far as worldwide goes. Other than that, Guardians of the Galaxy is still at 55 with 862. And then you have Wonder Woman at 64 with 800.4. I don't know if it's going to have enough to pick up Guardians of the Galaxy, but it has, 64 on the all-time list. And by the way, Mike, you know that Pirates movie that came out earlier this year, Dead Man Tell No Tales?
Yes, sir.
789 in 68th place. So that flop of a movie. That flop of a movie.
789, huh?
Yeah.
789, huh?
Yeah, that's quite the flop.
It's like it didn't make any money.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Right? Total flop.
Quite the flop.
Yeah. So much of a flop, it was a super profit, and they're going to make another one. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. So, but anyway, you have to give props to Wonder Woman here because nobody expected this. It's been a phenomenon. So you give kudos to Patty Jenkins and company on that because that is the biggest surprise. I expected it to do well. I didn't think it'd do this well. And it's a credit to everybody involved for making a good movie and really, despite Warner Brothers, it ended up being a good movie. And DC ended up being a good movie. So, kudos. All right, so that's the box office beat. We'll talk more about these summer storylines when we do our summer wrap-up. But now we jump to TV highlights. Mike, what TV highlights do you bring us this week? Because I don't bring any.
No, you're certainly slacking off. It's very disappointing, Brian. Very disappointing.
It is very disappointing.
On the level. Get on the level, scrub. Anyways, couple shows, and I know you criticize me for shows that nobody watches.
Oh, stop.
This platform, like the Film Elitist, to
Oh,
bring
God.
attention to shows that you should be watching. Shows that everybody watches. So my highlights this week include The Sinner, USA, airs tomorrow. It is USA's big summer event because Queen of the South. Queen of the South. I don't know anybody who actually watches that show. With Jessica Biel and is a fantastic mystery. I spoiled myself on how the book ends. It's really surprising because I guess that now the mystery is going to transition to Jessica Biel's character's sister, and Bo Pullman is good in this character he has. So I'm interested to see where it kind of goes. Show that I'm going to highlight just came back is Endeavor on Masterpiece Mysteries. For those of you who don't know what Masterpiece is, of course, the prequel series, Inspector Morse and Inspector Lewis shows. Endeavor. It's like a period about a super smart of the station in Oxford. Eventually, he becomes an inspector, but that's not. I mean, this one, death masks. Very interesting show. Very climactic ending. Super return for Endeavor. Didn't think it would get another season, but here we are. I'm very glad we did. Sundays, Masterpiece Mysteries. I will recommend a couple other shows real quick. Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Daily Show with Trevor Noah, Late Show with James Corden, Late Night with Seth Meyers. All of these are doing some of their best work right now, especially Stephen Colbert. Orange Scrub and Office. A lot of material. Stephen Colbert watch right now. And so is Trevor Noah from Vacation. James Corden, he's more of a lighthearted approach. Seth Meyers is kind of like the kind of John Oliver type. Also, HBO watching John Oliver's show. Mostly because you don't have HBO, like me, online. Show, great rate last week tonight. Highly recommend that show. So, did you get known period mystery drama from Masterpiece and USA special event miniseries? 5 shows that people watch.
Oh, stop.
In Colbert, Corden, Trevor Noah, and John Oliver. All of them recommended, especially now in these political times. It's intelligent, great stuff. Highly recommended.
I've watched Last Week with John Oliver before. I like that show.
I don't know how much of that you heard, but I tried.
I heard all of it. In fact, I don't know if I think I did something that might have been helped us a little bit. I turned the HD off because it wasn't making much difference, and it seemed to stabilize your sound.
I did.
I don't know if huh? What?
I'm done.
No, I know you're done. I'm just saying.
Continue talking now.
I am talking. I'm talking. Oh, good Lord. What are you doing? Hello? Can you hear me?
Show, and they post big clips occasionally.
Okay, something's going on. We have issues because you're either not hearing me or...
That's probably best. We don't look. We don't.
Okay. Well, the problem's on your end, dude. It's not on mine. Mine's not the one that lags. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. This is freaking ridiculous. Hang on. Really? 2 minutes ago? I'm not hearing a word you're saying. Are you screwing with me right now or what? Why are you shaking your head? Why aren't you saying anything? Hello?
And
okay, well, why aren't you saying anything? You're driving me bananas.
I'm not lagging either.
Okay, well, it's not lagging then because you just answered me. So there you go. Wow, that was a good 2 minutes. All right. Let's get out of this mess we're in. Let's move it along. Let's get out of this mess we're in. And please, if I ask you a question, answer me. Good Lord. Gosh. Yeah. You are lagging too, so it's not me because everything on my end is moving. So let me see. Let me see if clearly that didn't help much. Let's try it back on HD. I'm sorry, folks. This has been. I love how we canceled last night to avoid technical problems, and then here we are a day later. We're having technical problems. So I'm not sure quite why that is happening, but I'm gonna check this and see what we can do if there's anything on my end that I can do. I don't think there is. I've checked the sound. I've checked the control room. Oh, okay. So just bear with us. We're trying to figure out. I think Mike is restarting in hopes that will help him. Let's see here if we can get this back on track. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I know this is not. It's going to seem weird, but I'm going to move places here. Because sometimes you get a stronger connection and it's better aesthetically over here. So I'm going to do that right now in hopes that this will help. Because sometimes the simplest things can be helpful. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Because everything else on my end I have tried. So hopefully, that already brightened things up. Well, that's weird. Huh. All right, well, let's see if it works out here. All right, so I am in position here at my... This is probably where I should always do the show. This is where I usually do the show. Sometimes I do it over there. So let's hope that helps here. I don't know if...
You literally only moved across the table.
I know, but it's in a weird way, though. I've noticed that sometimes, depending on where you are, it is weird. But I usually do the show right here. And aesthetically, it looks better. Like, when I'm over there, it looks all grainy. And then it's still grainy over here, but I think it's because I got the back wall behind me. It kind of makes it look better. I don't know, but it's weird. But I feel like it's quality-wise, it might be a little bit better. I don't know. I
Off my
tried.
camera, so I figured it might help the stream.
It might. We'll see. Right now, there's no lag, so let's, we can go with it and then see what happens. And then if we feel comfortable about it, can mess around with it. But I did try on my end. I tried the control room. Nothing else is there. Like I said, it's ironic. We canceled last night because I felt like this might happen. It happens tonight anyway, so go figure. But anyway, yeah, so it goes. Anyway, all right, so I apologize for that 5-minute fun-filled technical hell that we just went through, but it happens. That's what it is. Live show. That's what happens. All right, so really quickly, I said there was an entertainment story I wanted to get to, and I wasn't going to do it tonight. And again, there's a lot of entertainment stories we haven't gotten to over the last couple of weeks. We just haven't had the time. We'll maybe touch on them once we get back to our normal schedule. But there is one that a lot of you asked me about today, and I mean, it's a continuing story in a way, but it's worth talking about because it's really representing what is becoming a mess, even more of a mess. There was an announcement made today that further reinforced the idea that Warner Brothers and DC have a mess on their hands. Okay, even more so than we all thought. So obviously, we've been talking over the summer about this Batman drama. Will Ben Affleck leave? Will they have to recast? Ben's not directing. Matt Reeves is directing. They threw out Ben and Jeff Johns' script. Now they're rewriting the script. Now it's going to be a new trilogy with Matt Reeves at his director's chair. Will they use Deathstroke? Will they not? A lot of different things going on. Now today, DC makes a huge announcement. Not huge, but two big pieces of news came out. First of all, it was announced today. It was said today that the new Batman movie will not be connected to the DC cinematic universe. It will be a standalone. Even if Ben Affleck's in the role, it will be a standalone story, which would mean that the whole trilogy would probably be a standalone story. You would think. And apparently, that's how Warner Brothers approached Matt Reeves. Make your own story, which is interesting if you think about it. Because why would you do that? You know what I mean? Why would you do that if you're trying to do what Marvel's doing? Then we're not done, Mike. We're not done. It was announced that there's a Joker origin movie in the works. Okay, which would feature now. Okay, it's not set at now. In the same vein, it was announced that Jared Leto will play Joker in Suicide Squad 2 and in Gotham City Sirens. But he will not play Joker in the Joker origin movie. They will be recasting him, and it's said that this Joker origin movie will be a gritty crime drama. Okay, gritty crime drama that will have Hangover's Todd Phillips and 8 Mile's Scott Silver writing the script. Todd Phillips is going to direct the movie, and it will be produced by Martin Scorsese and Todd Phillips. And it will be, again, I want you to put this. This will be the intention is to make a gritty and grounded, hard-boiled crime film set in early '80s Gotham City. This is a quote that isn't meant to feel like a DC movie as much as one of Scorsese's films from that era, like Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, or The King of Comedy, end quote. Okay? It will have a different actor, possibly young. And again, Jared Leto will be playing Joker in Suicide Squad 2 and Gotham City Sirens. He will not be in that movie. And this Joker origin movie is said to be the first film under a new banner that Warner Brothers has yet to name, which will expand the canon of DC Comics properties and create unique storylines with different actors playing the characters. And that's not all. I know.
Oh, God.
I know.
Gets worse?
Well, so we talked about the Batman thing being a separate entity, right? Now, as we all know, all summer, the rumor is now they're doing Flashpoint. They're going to reboot things if Justice League and Aquaman fail, right? That's been the rumor. Well, what you have here is, and I'm trying to look this up here, that obviously Justice League has gone through massive reshoots and a director's switch. It's said now that if Lex Luthor was in the film, he's been cut entirely. Okay? Flashpoint, which was at one point the Flash movie, now it's Flashpoint, has burned through 2 directors, with the third that's not yet announced. The Cyborg movie has been scrapped. So basically, this is a mess. Quite the mess. And, now who knows? So, and on top of that, as I'm sure Mike is well versed in because he's been talking about off the air, you have the Joss Whedon scandal, where people have been questioning whether he should even be allowed to direct the Batgirl movie, or produce that movie as well, given all this controversy that's going on. So, talk about a studio. And look, Warner Brothers, Warner Brothers is the overseer, but DC is in a mess. And now they're talking about having different divisions so they can have separate movies. Basically, what they're admitting is this whole thing's a mess. The expanded universe is a mess. The only thing that worked out was Wonder Woman. They're probably going to soft reboot it. And if the Batman stuff for Matt Reeves works out, they're probably just going to use that Batman in a completely new universe in the reboot. And all these other separate movies, the separate division is their way of having movies on the side that can have creative freedom and help keep the DC movie universe afloat if some of these movies fail. That's what it is. What a damn mess. What a mess.
All right. Let's break this down real quick.
Please.
With the first story.
Okay.
Matt Reeves, 2 separate Batman, right?
Yes. Trilogy,
yes. Dude, not a part of DC Universe. I saw that literally before we went on the air. What was that about? So we already had that. Christopher Nolan did it. Did a damn fine job of it.
Yes.
We don't need another trilogy of doing the Batman on this screen in this current day was to help kind of lay the groundwork for this DC expanded universe, which you're going to soft reset anyways, like a bunch of scrubs. So, first, it's pointless. Ben Affleck and who is it, Jeff Johns?
Yeah.
A renowned comic writer, one of the legends of the business. Way to write a decent script, for better or for worse. And hey, didn't Ben Affleck win a movie for something? Maybe his script writing?
You mean an Oscar?
Yes. Didn't he win an Oscar or 2 for his script writing?
Yes.
Strange how they didn't want an Oscar-winning script writer's work. Along with Jeff Johns, who is one of the few people who knows the DC universe inside and out. So first of all, that is fucking ridiculous. Let me just lay that groundwork there. That is dumb as hell. So already we're diving into shit city. Okay, number 2, Jared Leto, who did, and all right, he had a very. There were several mixed reactions.
Okay.
Our reactions were, holy crap, he was terrible. And that was our reaction. And that is a general reaction as a result of his turn as the Joker. So yes, it was a very, very mixed reaction to the role. So he's coming back for Suicide Squad 2 and Gotham City Sirens. Makes it easy to pass on both of those movies, isn't it? Doesn't it?
It's a big compelling reason. Yeah.
Hey, I like Margot Robbie. I like Will Smith to an extent. I do. I really do like Will Smith. And I'm not a big fan of his movie selection now of late, but it is what it is. But that being said, Squad was, in my opinion, shit. So, and that is my opinion. I thought that, yes, that movie up until that point was probably the most watchable DC expanded universe.
Well, they got Wonder Woman now, so.
They got Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is by far and away the single best movie in that universe. That isn't even hard.
No, it's not.
No, but Wonder Woman was a genuinely good movie. Good movie. Suicide Squad was not. So Suicide Squad 2, that's an automatic pass. Gotham City Sirens, automatic pass. Jared Leto's in it. So we're going for the gritty movie. Here's the thing about the Joker, and this is what Jeff Johns would have told you had you listened to him, or Frank Miller, or Alan Moore, or anybody else has written the Joker in the last 100 years or whatever.
Yep.
Years of Batman. The Joker's origin story is multiple choice.
Exactly.
We like to think the Killing Joke is his origin story.
Right.
But we don't know that. We don't know that. The Joker's origin story is multiple choice. It could be this, it could be that. The Joker himself isn't a narrator. You literally cannot trust anything he says regarding his origin story. That is the point. One of the characters. So saying this is the definitive Joker origin story. We're going to love it. It's going to be gritty. It's going to show early 80s Gotham before Batman gets there.
Besides, we already saw it. Tim Burton did it.
I was about to say. And not only that, we got the animated adaptation of The Killing Joke. While it got mixed reviews in itself, The Killing Joke and with that animated movie is probably going to be better with whatever turd Todd Phillips and company is going to put out. And by the way, Todd Phillips still owes us $15 for the $15 for that shit fest that was Hangover Part 3.
Yeah.
Opinions about that one still. Fuck you, Todd Phillips, and The Hangover Part 3. Oh, fucking movie that was. Oh, I need a shower just thinking of that turd. Literally, I think I need a shower just thinking of that piece of shit.
Was not good.
Very strong. It was not good. I have very strong opinions on Todd Phillips right now. And him being attached at all to this Joker origin movies, check me right out. I do not give a shit. Unless you cast Kevin Owens as a major person in that movie, I'm not going to go. and let me be perfectly clear. Perfectly clear.
Oh goodness.
I will wait until Kevin Owens' last scene, and then I will walk out of that piece of shit. So Kevin Owens' last scene had better be a piece of shit.
Oh my goodness.
That is it.
Okay.
So I have no fucking interest. No interest whatsoever in a Joker movie. And Joss Whedon.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the fake feminist Joss Whedon. Oh, my God. I'm not going to throw stones at Joss Whedon here. His ex-wife already did a great job of just breaking his glass house with the truth. Or her truth. And to be fair, yeah, that makes an awful lot of fucking sense. Joss Whedon was always one of those guys that defended it a little too much, but he was one of those guys who bought into his own hype. And you could kind of tell what Joss Whedon's thought process was. His shit Wonder Woman script. that is the belief of someone who is a feminist. A Wonder Woman, a secondary character in her own movie starring feminist hero Steve Trevor. So Joss Whedon, look, he has done some good things in his career.
Obviously, yes.
It's a phenomenon. I loved Angel. I thought Angel was a great show. People will swear by Firefly. Dollhouse is kind of where you saw the creepy side of Joss Whedon.
Right.
A lot of people like Dollhouse, and that's great. But that apparently a lot of the themes and the way the female characters were treated on Dollhouse, you could kind of see in Joss Whedon's psyche there. And of course, Avengers was great. Avengers 2 was great. Age of Ultron, both were great movies. Fit because you couldn't kill Hawkeye twice. Coulson, and couldn't keep Coulson dead. And apparently that the Black Widow subplot was obviously his.
Yeah, I think that's given.
Especially since she's been treated way better in appearances since. So no biggie, no surprise there. That's Joss Whedon for you. And now this. And now, after the Wonder Woman thing, after this thing, do you really think the guy's qualified enough to fucking do Batwoman or Batgirl? Absolutely not. I would not even put that property in his hands.
If you thought the usage of Batgirl in The Killing Joke was bad, you wait till he gets his hands on her. Look, given the things that have been said about him this summer and all the stuff that's come out, it doesn't bode well for a Batgirl movie. And I get, and maybe because of everything going on, he'll have the right people around him and he'll pull it off. That could be the case. But, I honestly think, and people have asked me about this, do you think he should be removed from the movie? I think he should. Because I think it's going to make it very hard for people to buy into this movie because of it.
100%. 100%.
Even if some of the stuff isn't true, and who knows, all right? Even if it's not, it's still out there now. There's a lot of doubt, okay? And I'm not saying he wouldn't pull it off. Chances are he would pull it off only because all eyes are on him now. And he's going to want to, you know what I mean? He'll probably get some people around him, the right people around him, and pull it off. And everybody will be like, oh, wow, oh, wow, he did it. Oh, see, nobody was telling the truth. But, again, it's not the chance that you want to take with this movie. It's not the chance that you want to take with this movie. So, remove him. I would remove him from it. You want to keep him on as a producer, you go right ahead and go from there. So I just had to text somebody. So you know what? Just so that you can avoid the issue entirely. You want to keep him on as a producer or something, fine. But right now, I would stay away from it. DC's got enough things going on. And look, here's the thing. Again, I know it's all, it's all, he said, she said, all this other stuff. But there's so much stuff out there now. It's toxic at this point. Okay? You're better off just putting somebody else in charge of it and leave it at that. Just to save face a little bit. Again, he probably would pull it off, but, who knows?
But at this point, you really even can't trust him around. Even if his ex-wife is lying, let's say she's lying.
Yeah.
But even if she's lying, I would not trust him now around female employees.
Right.
I would not. The guy comes across as having a god complex.
Right.
Fucking Zeus.
And
I would not do it.
All I can say is, you watch his brother, who's a writer on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with his sister-in-law, and that's all that show does is write for strong women. I mean, you look at that show and the women it has on that and that cast and what they do and the storylines that they tell, and it's like night and day compared to a lot of the things that Joss has done in his career. So it's weird. But look, you have enough problems. Avoid them entirely. And this Joker origin thing is, look, I love Martin Scorsese, and I think he could do a really good crime drama set in the Gotham City universe. That'd be great to see. But to have Todd Phillips? I mean, seriously? First of all, Todd Phillips and Martin Scorsese is a weird pairing to begin with. But again, we saw this in Tim Burton's Batman. We don't need an origin. Mike documented my reasons perfectly. I'm not going to belabor them. Why bother? You want to do a Joker solo movie? Fine. Let's do a Joker solo movie. Let's do a version of the Killing Joke in live action.
Or even better. Well, a live version of the Killing Joke would not work with anybody but Christopher Nolan.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, I'm saying with the right people involved and not Jared Leto as Joker, I'd be willing to see that in live action.
And here's the biggest problem, though. The Killing Joke already had the best possible cast.
Yeah, it did with the
animated version. It had Mark Hamill as the Joker, and it had Kevin Conroy as Batman, and they acted their asses off, and it was very memorable. Their performance was fantastic. The writing around it wasn't the best, but
yeah, but they don't need to be doing that. I don't necessarily mind the idea of having a standalone thing where you can just do whatever movie you feel like doing. But I think, you're confusing the hell out of your audience here. You're trying to be Marvel, and you've been saying all along you want to be Marvel, and now you're kind of like, well, we don't want to be Marvel, but we also want to be Marvel at the same time. Like, it's a confusing thing that they're trying to do. It's like they're always working from behind, and they're too busy trying to react instead of just make good movies. Before it was reacting to Marvel, now they're reacting to critics and fans, and they keep kind of like bobbing and weaving, and they don't know which way to go. And the one movie that they didn't do that with, Wonder Woman, ended up being good. So it's just weird to me. It reminds me a lot of what Fox was doing before the X-Men movies got kind of soft rebooted and started being good. It was always like, well, gee, what do we do this? Let's do this. Let's do this. This standalone, that standalone, this, that. And then all of a sudden they hit on the one movie that they rushed out, and the movie that they thought was going to be a train wreck, X-Men First Class, saved their tails. And from that point on, they kind of saved themselves, and the X-Men movies have turned around hugely. And you keep thinking that Wonder Woman was going to do the same thing for DC, and now you see all this stuff, and nobody knows. I like Matt Reeves. I think Matt Reeves is a fine director. I think he'll do a very good job with Batman. I think doing a standalone Batman and trilogy, it could be good. I know we've done it before, but it could be good. But there was nothing wrong. Jeff Johns got a lot of criticism. I'm not quite sure. I mean, it's not perfect, but I'm not sure a lot of what's gone wrong here is him. Okay? But nonetheless,
no.
I trust Jeff with Ben Affleck writing a script. I liked a lot of the ideas I was hearing. I liked a lot of what they were talking about. I think it would have been fine. I've seen Ben's work. Ben, honest to God, Ben as a director and as a screenwriter is better than as an actor. I've said it from day one. Even though he's done a really good job with Bruce Wayne and Batman, the one movie I've seen him in, Ben's a very good writer and a very good director. I've seen enough of his work to know that. I think he'd do a very good job. But I can understand not wanting to do all of it. It's a lot. So you know what? You could have had Matt Reeves direct. Ben could have still co-wrote and starred. I can understand not wanting to do it all. It might be too much for him at this point right now with everything going on. But it's just too much of a disarray. Like they don't know what they want to be. They keep going. I mean, it's just too much reaction and not enough just making a good movie. Just make a good movie. Please, make a good movie.
That's DC's problem exclusively right now. Up until this point, they had committed to this shared universe they had because they want to be Marvel. You mentioned that.
Yeah.
Up until this point, they wanted to be Marvel.
Right.
Like, no, we got to soft reboot it. We can't go with this. We had one good movie out of how many? 4?
What, 4 or 5, something like that? Yeah, generally.
One great, well-received movie. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to soft reboot that. No, you don't touch that movie. You let Patty Jenkins do whatever the fuck she wants. It has to be priority number 1. Then you have to make Aquaman and Flash the best possible movies they can be.
Exactly.
Stay hands off. Stay streamlined. This isn't rocket science. This isn't rocket science. If you want to ape Marvel on something, this is what you do. Ape their stability.
Look, the fact is they rushed it. They rushed it all, and that's what the problem's been since the beginning. And now it's not about they rush job at the start, and now they're worried about reacting to everything instead of just doing the right thing. They did the right thing with Wonder Woman when they weren't even paying attention. They didn't think anything of Wonder Woman. Poor Gal got barely anything to do in Batman versus Superman. They clearly thought nothing of Wonder Woman, and then they throw the movie out there in between Memorial Day weekend and another big weekend in the summer, and it ends up excelling, and they're like, wow, we always believed in it. You didn't believe in it.
No. They thought it'd get swallowed up by Pirates of the Caribbean.
They did the same thing that Fox did with Deadpool. It's almost the exact same thing, except it didn't have like the whole Comic-Con thing with the video leaking and all that stuff. It was the same thing. Fox did not care about Deadpool, did not want any part of Deadpool. It's like, all right, we'll stick it out there, shut the fans up and see what happens. And it becomes a phenomenon. And now they're like, oh, we always believed in Deadpool. You didn't believe in it.
Well, the only people who don't like Deadpool anymore right now are Marvel themselves because Fox owns the rights.
Yeah. But Deadpool became
that's another story.
Deadpool became this big phenomenon. Now Wonder Woman's become this big phenomenon, and they were essentially cast-offs for their respective studios, and they both said, "Whoop, we told you so." Now you just hope that they get left alone to be what they're supposed to be, because if it's what they're supposed to be, they're going to be huge every time out. It's just ridiculous to me. This is one of the great. I'm telling you, folks. Outside of Wonder Woman, I'm not even declaring Wonder Woman part of this universe, to be honest, because they kind of tried to keep it as isolated as they possibly could, other than a few references in the beginning and end of the movie. Other than Wonder Woman, this has been one of the most colossal failures I've ever seen by a studio. It really is. This has been a complete and utter failure, and it's only going to get worse because they don't think things through. They just go, well, they're doing this, so we're going to do this. Oh, the critics and the fans have panned us. What are we going to do? Oh, well, we got to throw in these things. Let's do reshoots. Let's do this. Let's do that. Make a damn good movie. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Make a good movie. Stick it out there, believe in it, and say, this is the best movie we could have made. Because that's what Marvel does each time out. They put a movie out they think is the best movie. They've made mistakes. They haven't all been perfect. We know that. Some have been better than others. And sometimes they've made mistakes in micromanaging, and they've learned from them, and there's been some slip-ups. But every one of their movies, for the most part, critically and fan alike, you found something to enjoy in every one of those movies. They have not had a clunker. They've had a couple movies you thought were like, all right, but they haven't been clunkers. And the reason is because they go out and try to get talented people. For the most part, yes, they do micromanage at times. But they always have a long-term direction. They know where they're going, and they stick to it for better or for worse. And they don't react to what everybody else is doing. They are who they are, and this is what you got. Take it or leave them. They have their identity, and it's in every one of their movies. And they don't rush. They build, and they build, and they build. And next year, when they have part one of what's going to be their peak, and they make and they close in on what will probably be a box office record, because they're gonna come very close, I think, with these next two Avengers movies. When they come close, it's because they've spent years building these things up and putting a lot of time and effort into them, not trying to cut corners to catch up. Just ridiculous. So I wanted to get to that story because everybody's been talking about it today. It's been a mess. And speaking of a mess, go ahead.
You know, there was a story that kind of came out that is the antithesis of that almost.
Okay, go ahead.
Apparently, I don't know if it came out today or if it came out recently, but apparently they said that Guardians of the Galaxy, Part 3, to be the focal point for the Marvel Studios for the next 10 to 20 years.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll begin the next 10 to 20 years of the MCU. for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So maybe that's what DC should have copied, the fact that Marvel's stability in planning and just going out there to make a good damn movie be the thing. Because, yes, James Gunn apparently said that James Gunn didn't say it. We'll know via Facebook or Twitter later. That Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is 10 to 20 years of the MCU. Ridiculous. And Guardians 2 is a damn brilliant movie, and I will stand by that. It was a brilliant movie. I will stand by it. No offense to all of you who love the movie All Saints, which I'm sure will be a fine Christian film that I just don't care about.
Well,
that's the one thing DC should focus on. And by the way, what I said earlier is, All Saints is not about us beating them in a basketball game or a giant biblical epic movie like Marvel or DC. Well, then I don't care. I'm going to say fuck that. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Offend people who like the movie or Christians or anything. That's just how it came out via the sound issues or whatever.
Yeah. Look, it doesn't come as much of a surprise because I think they've been saying all along that the next Guardians movie was going to have a bigger impact than some of the previous two Guardians movies have had on the MCU. They're going to use it to set up a lot of things, and look, it's a smart thing to do because really, it's been clear for a while, the last couple months, that Marvel is going more in the cosmic direction as opposed to what they've been doing, which is, they've done a lot of stuff on planet Earth. They've done a lot. They're going in the cosmic direction. That's what they're going. So it makes sense that Guardians would be the linchpin of that. Really, I think the only thing that they're going to be set in as far as, planet Earth is going to be Spider-Man. More or less. So we'll see. But, yeah, you're right. DC should follow that formula. But they haven't followed that since day one. So why bother now, right?
That's right.
All right, so speaking of messes, let's jump from entertainment to sports. 'Cause I have to get to this because it's burning inside of me. I have to get to this. I don't want to scream and I don't want to yell, folks, but good Lord Almighty, what happened yesterday? What happened yesterday with this trade? Okay, first of all, I said this earlier. I heard rumors about this trade. This is not a blindside, other than the fact that it actually happened. Okay. There have been rumors for weeks that the only person, look, obviously early on there was all this talk about, maybe doing it for Carmelo Anthony, but really, realistically speaking, Cleveland wanted a deal where they were going to get just more than an essential trade, essential exchange. They wanted more. They wanted to not only compete now, but in the future. They wanted to solidify themselves just in case LeBron James takes off. That's what they wanted to do. So that was their whole angle. Was okay. If we're gonna move Irving, we want a lot back for him. We want more than just essentially, one superstar for one superstar. All right. So they get Isiah Thomas. Irving and Isiah Thomas are exchanged. All right. Now, if you look on paper at this, obviously Irving has been in the spotlight more because he's been to the finals more and more eyes have been on him. But it's almost an even exchange of talent in terms of scoring average and all that kind of stuff. All right, you got Irving for Isiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, who's a forward, center Ante Zizic, and Brooklyn's 2018 unprotected first pick. So Cleveland gets Isiah Thomas, who's going to be an unrestricted free agent as well next year. But, okay. They get Jay Crowder, who's a wingman, which they needed. And they get the unprotected first-round pick, which, they can use in the future and help build themselves up. So, all right, Mike, can you react to it? I gotta drop off and do something real quick.
Sure.
I also had to blow my nose. So that was a thing. All right. So the trade, I think it went official today, and which was kind of funny because I saw a side note that Minnesota kind of got in at the last possible minute, and they said, and Cleveland wasn't interested, and then Cleveland wanted to do straight up Kyrie for Klay Thompson. That was the big little thing. Klay Thompson for Kyrie straight up, but that obviously did not happen. Klay was flattered by the Warriors' interest, allegedly. Klay was flattered, but the deal obviously didn't go through. So it's not the best trade for Boston. Now Boston's all like, yes, we're excited to. Boston was very excited. Sorry, I saw a thing that I will and I'll get to it in a second. That Boston's very excited for. Boston's very excited. They think Kyrie's best years are ahead of him. That's from Danny H. However, Kyrie is only going to Boston to audition for a max deal. That is essentially what this is. Boston probably will not have the cap space. I'm not an expert, so I don't know about it. But Boston, I don't think will have the cap space to give Kyrie Irving a max deal. Because this is what he's playing for. He's playing for what's his face money? Beard dude's money. James Harden. And it got to the point, and the point I was going to bring up earlier is that Kyrie Irving wasn't going to report to Cavs training camp if he didn't get traded. And that's the other thing Boston has to deal with, the attitude. Kyrie Irving, up to this point, Uncle Drew himself was not – people didn't really think he had this bad of an attitude. This attitude does you more harm in the long run. It will make people less willing to deal with you and deal with your crap. If you're going to kind of hold out like this. And look, players feel like they know their worth. And I'm not saying Kyrie Irving isn't a bad player. Kyrie Irving is probably a top 3 point guard in the NBA. However, the other 2 point guards in there are probably Stephen Curry and Isiah Thomas. So Cleveland gets Isiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, who Brian mentioned is a wingman. He's a forward. They need a young forward, 13.9 points a game last season. They need a guy like that. They needed Jay Crowder more, almost more than Isiah Thomas, but don't get me wrong, they need Isiah Thomas. And they got Ante Zizic. He's Boston. He didn't play very much last year. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with Ante Zizic. But he has no stats, so I don't think he played. And that first pick from the Brooklyn Nets.
Right.
Meanwhile, Boston just gets Kyrie Irving. So, yeah, Cleveland wins this deal. Because they have a better chance at re-signing Isiah Thomas next year than Boston does, I think, in signing Kyrie Irving. Re-signing Kyrie Irving, especially since he's auditioning for a max contract. And the fact that Jay Crowder's in this deal, barring injury, same thing.
Yeah.
Jay Crowder makes this deal worth it because suddenly the Cavs have improved. Like, can he keep improving like he's been improving? Because Jay Crowder's a very good player. He's bubbling up. 7 years old. He was drafted, 2012 to 2017. He's had a few years in the league. If he can kind of play up to more of his potential, even if he doesn't, even if he just scores 15 points a game next season, needs a forward who can score 15 on a regular basis.
Yeah.
That's one of the places where Golden State friggin' killed him. And Isiah Thomas for what's his face for Kyrie is essentially a one-to-one trade. So I feel like Cleveland made out like bandits in this deal.
Except Isaiah's a better teammate, probably, at this point.
That's the thing. It's like the Gilbert Arenas thing. Nobody is willing to deal with you once they find out you have an attitude like that.
Yeah.
And once you threaten to sit out camp, like owners are not going to be willing to take a fucking chance on you in the long road. And that's what he did.
I understand why Cleveland made this deal. All right, it's a no-brainer. I talked about it before I had to cut off. I apologize for that. I had a situation. But for Cleveland, this is a great deal. And Mike explained why. First of all, you need a wingman. It hurt them against Golden State. He's a good defender. He can score the ball. It makes him harder to defend. And he's a good complement to LeBron. And he'll help. He fits into their system. So it's a good thing there with Crowder. And, they get the first round draft pick, which will help them in the future. And then if they can somehow – look, they have a better chance at re-signing Isiah Thomas than they do Kyrie Irving. So I think you take that, even though you might be one of them people that's like, well, maybe you could try to get him to sign or something. No, you have a better chance at signing Isiah Thomas than you do Kyrie Irving, especially given the circumstance, which we all know. I don't understand this deal for Boston. Because here's the thing, okay? All right? Yeah, you do have Gordon Hayward. Yeah, you still have Jason Tatum. You got guys there, okay, to work with. So you still have a core. And Boston's still going to be Irving there, assuming Irving there. They're still going to be at the top of the East, okay? But this is a guy that I don't care how much he likes Boston. He might very well come to love being a Celtic. This is a guy that has no intention of re-signing with you until he hits the open market. He's made that abundantly clear during his trade discussions that no matter where he goes, doesn't matter if he loves the place, doesn't matter what he does, he is going to go out on the open market and try to get that supermax deal no matter what. So for me, that, and we talked about how that hurt his trade stock. Apparently didn't hurt it with the Celtics. I would not want a player like that. I would not want a player like that. Yeah, I don't mind them keeping it open-ended. Like, Isiah Thomas, like, okay, you know what? But one reason I have a better chance to sign Isiah is because Isaiah is not already hurting his value. Isaiah's like, I'm going to go there. I'm going to see what I can do. And you know what? At that point, you put the decision behind closed doors at the end of the season. And you say, hey, how are you feeling about staying here? Oh, I like it here. Okay, you want to sign here and stay here? You have a better chance of getting Isaiah to do it. And Kyrie's not going to do it. Isaiah might. Kyrie's not. So for Cleveland, this works out. For Boston, you just gave up. I understand you have Tatum. I understand you have Hayward. All right, I understand you still have guys there. But you just gave up a guy that's a gamer, that you saw what he did last year when he was injured and when he had that horrible tragedy. He went out there. You saw the big game performances. This guy was a steal as the last pick in a draft. First time in history, saw first pick for a last pick. Big deal there. But you saw what this guy did. He's a good teammate. He's a class act. He's a gamer. He's a guy that you want on your team. He's a leader. He's a high-character guy. Irving was until this offseason, where all of a sudden he turned into somebody you don't want on your team because he's all for himself. He doesn't care. He just cares about what he gets that supermax deal. That's all he cares about. I don't want that guy on my team. I don't want a guy that, if I'm trying to trade him, takes his value away and handcuffs you. I don't want that kind of guy on my team. So you trade a guy that's a complete opposite for why? You trade for a guy that's a complete opposite. Why on earth would you do that? That would have been like trading Paul Pierce for, think of a player that's comparable to him that was a selfish player. That would be like trading Paul Pierce for Gilbert Arenas. There you go. What on earth are you thinking? People have questioned Danny Ainge over the years. This, and sometimes he's pulled off some remarkable deals. But what in the? I don't understand it. You get nothing in this. You gave up a pick. You gave up Jay Crowder, and you give up, and you get nothing of that. You're essentially swapping players, but you're swapping a player that's a high character guy that you would love on your team for a guy that nobody wants.
Even Golden State didn't want him. Do you see that deal?
I mean, seriously.
Did you see the Golden State proposed trade? Not Golden State. Cleveland proposed a trade to Golden State.
No.
Klay Thompson for Kyrie Irving straight up.
Oh, they weren't going to do that.
Said no uncertain terms, no.
Can't blame
And by the way, speaking of high class and character, Tale of Two Cities, Kyrie Irving acts like a giant entitled prick on his way out the door. Won't say anything. Won't attend training camps. Just wanted to be done in Cleveland. He got out. He got his trade. He's gone. He got his way. He's gone. And LeBron James especially said there's only one way we treat this guy on the way out. And he retweeted a picture of a fan saying on Kyrie's jersey, "Thank you, everything you've done for us."
I saw that.
He's like, he's LeBron. I'm paraphrasing LeBron. He's like, I may not like the way it ended, but there's no denying that we created something special here, and I wish you nothing but love and respect on the way out. LeBron James.
Yeah.
LeBron James said, "This is the way. This is how we have to treat a departing brother." Austin, I understand that, but LeBron.
Yeah.
So
that was one of his finer moments. Yeah. Yeah.
Versus Austin.
Right.
All right. LeBron James, his real quick history. That's a special way to. That's the only way to be to the kid. Special talent / guy, nothing but respect, and what a ride it was for our 3 years together. James.
Yeah.
Versus Boston fans. By the way, it is worth noting that Isiah Thomas, you mentioned that he played through that personal tragedy, the loss of his sister, during the playoffs.
Injury.
He was noticed, and then an injury. And he was known as Mr. Fourth Quarter.
Yes.
In Boston for the way he was so clutch for the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a guy. One of the few reasons why Gordon Hayward is even on the Celtics roster was because Brad Stevens and Isiah Thomas went out and recruited him personally.
Agreed. Yep.
So how do Boston fans to Isiah Thomas getting traded by going out and burning his jersey like entitled pricks?
Yeah, it's not his fault.
No, it's not his fault. If you're going to blame somebody, blame Danny Ainge.
Look,
he ain't ever going to burn his jersey. So, but Boston fans posted YouTube videos, posted Snapchat videos, posted whatever. Thomas jerseys.
I don't understand that.
Absolutely.
I don't understand. I do not understand that because it's not like he left on his own.
And disrespectful for a guy who is nothing but loyal.
Yes.
Who is nothing but a character guy, nothing but upstanding for your franchise. Yes. Was one of the best representatives in the NBA. That is a disgusting way. Absolutely disgusting way.
Yeah. That's horrible.
Great player. Great character, good guy player who didn't even have a say in it.
No, he didn't. He didn't want to be moved.
Look, if it was a Kyrie Irving situation,
completely different.
That would be different.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving burned all of his bridges on the way out.
Agreed. Right.
Cleveland's like, no, we can't burn. We're not burning his jersey. We're going to show him some love and respect.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Look at Cleveland.
Didn't have a say in this. Isiah Thomas didn't have a say in it, and you're going to fucking go out there and burn his jersey?
That's ridiculous.
Classless, disgusting fans.
Revolting. I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous. Again, this is a guy. I mean, how quickly we forget. And here's the thing. And you mentioned Gordon Hayward, and you're right about that. It was Brad Stevens, his former coach, but also he loved the idea of playing with Isiah Thomas. People like to play with Isiah Thomas. And I'm sure LeBron's going to that might keep LeBron in Cleveland if he stays. That might, because people like playing with him. He fits in. He can help LeBron in the fourth quarter. He is an option in that fourth quarter. I mean, he's a guy, LeBron passing him. I mean, he's going to finish plays. That's going to be a sight to behold in the fourth quarter for the Cavaliers. You know that. Like, I mean, you saw what he did. Like, at one point, didn't he put up like 30 in the fourth quarter one time?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he will be just ridiculous in the fourth quarter with LeBron. And you got Crowder there. Look, you heard about the first game of the season, right?
Yeah, it's Cleveland versus Boston.
That game takes on a whole new meaning now, doesn't it? That's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a fun game. That's gonna be a fun game because it's gonna be. And look, I'm sorry. I've always, going back to the 80s with Bird and that, I've always had a thing for the Celtics. I mean, obviously I'm not a Red Sox fan or Patriot fan, but I've always had a thing for the Celtics. I like to, but I'm sorry for doing that to a guy that did nothing but play hard for you, give you his all. To do that to him. All right, a guy that did not choose to leave. This is not a guy walking away in free agency and insulting you all out the door. This is a guy that went out there through injury, through tragedy, gave everything he could on the floor, and had nothing but respect for his teammates, his team, his coach, the fans. And you do that, and you wonder why you wonder why some of these players come out on the street and refuse to give you an autograph and say nothing to you. He didn't leave for money. He didn't leave for, I mean, it wasn't his choice.
Now, let's say that this wasn't all Celtics fans.
No,
significant number of Celtics fans who are disgusted by this behavior, as well as they should be.
Right. That's an important point to note. It's not all Celtics fans, but there is a select few that were just being absurd. And to me, for it to happen to a player like that, and then you have Cleveland doing the complete opposite, which you give them kudos for. They were nothing but respectful to a guy that showed them no respect these last 2 months. Showed them absolutely no respect on his way out the door. And we can say a lot of things about LeBron. LeBron's kind of got, look, we said over the last maybe year or two, LeBron's has matured and he's gotten better. He still has moments, but he's gotten better. This was one of his finer moments here. Because let's remember something. Even though they had their differences, okay, LeBron didn't initiate any of this. He didn't ask for them to trade Kyrie Irving. He didn't go in there demanding them to trade Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving went in there demanding to be traded because he didn't want to pair with LeBron because he wanted to be the focal point. He wanted to be the guy. Well, now he's going to get to be the guy. He's going to get to go be Russell Westbrook. And poor Gordon Hayward, I'm telling you folks, Celtics fans out there, that first game of the season when Gordon Hayward's wide open out of the corner and he goes to the damn basket like Russell Westbrook and refuses to pass the ball and gets his ass blocked, don't complain. Because that's going to happen a lot next season. Mark my words. Kyrie Irving's a very talented basketball player. He'll put up 20 a game, no doubt in my mind. Just like Russell Westbrook does. But he's also a selfish player, and Gordon Hayward's going to pay the price for it because he ain't going to get the ball nearly as much as he should because Kyrie Irving's going to be too worried about whether he's upping his stock for when he gets his Supermax deal in 2 years. Which if he gets it, I'd be shocked, by the way, because I think a lot of general managers and a lot of ownership is going to look at him and go, I don't trust that guy. He'll get a good contract. He'll get a max contract. Would he get like Curry and Harden and them? I would be completely shocked. Completely shocked. Because people are going to look at him and say, if I put him on my team with another star or superstar, there's going to be a problem because he's going to want to be the guy. Kyrie Irving is not Kobe Bryant. Kyrie Irving is not Michael Jordan. Kyrie Irving is not LeBron James. Kyrie Irving is not Shaquille O'Neal. Kyrie Irving is not even Kyrie. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Kyrie Irving is not Dwayne Wade in his prime. He is a fantastically talented basketball player. And it's not one of these cases where I don't think he can perform on his own. I believe he can. But he's going to limit his game so that he looks and appears like a dynamic player on his own that can do it on his own, which limits him because he shouldn't be that kind of player. He should be an all-around player. He should be a guy that makes his teammates better. And he's going to limit himself to a guy that's not that because he wants money. He wants more money. He wants to drain every cent from a team that he can. He doesn't care how many rings are on his finger. He doesn't care about his teammates and how they perform. He cares about what's on the dollar signs on his contract. The zeros on his contract is all he cares about. He exposed that this summer. And it's a shame that he gets moved for a guy that's the complete and utter opposite. Who has some fans, mind you, not all Celtic fans, but some fans burning his jersey when he's everything you want in a player. I don't understand what was going through Danny Ainge's mind. I don't understand what was going. If I was a front office executive in that office with Danny Ainge, I'd be like, "What the hell are you smoking? What is wrong with you?" We all thought a couple years ago when he was trying to trade Rajon Rondo, he was obscene. This is much worse. Oh, we still got to tell. Oh, we did a good job here. How the hell did you do a good job here, you moron? Cleveland did a good job. They can laugh to the bank. Cleveland did an all-around good job. Not only did they get a good package for him, probably more than they ever could have dreamed, secure their future. They might secure LeBron James for at least another year. But they also get a high-character guy that they have a chance to resign. They get a lot of talent here. And guess what? Cleveland does the right thing. They said the right things to the media. LeBron James says the right thing to the media. They look like a class act. They look like a class act. They look very good right now. Cleveland looks like they won the summer. Meanwhile, Boston looks like a bunch of idiots, and they're getting a guy that's going to be more trouble than he's worth. Think Gordon Hayward wants to trade now? Utah was looking mighty fine now, wasn't it? Or isn't it? Feel bad for him. I feel bad for Brad Stevens, too, because you know what? This is a distraction. This is a distraction. Nobody wants to distract. This is a distraction. It's going to always be a distraction. And that's what Cleveland unloaded here. They get a guy that's not going to be a distraction. And boy, if it's Cleveland going to State again, everybody can stay healthy, I think Cleveland has a better chance with the team they have here. I truthfully do. Because I think you have two guys in the fourth quarter that can answer for Durant and Curry. Because Isaiah, I think, is better. I know Irving's had his moments, but I think Isaiah's better in the fourth quarter than Irving is. I really do. And I think LeBron's going to be more than happy to let Isiah Thomas do his thing if he has to. So Cleveland's not going to miss a beat here. They've salvaged their season. They've put themselves back in the driver's seat in the East. No doubt. No doubt. And Boston, good luck. Good luck. That's a horrible deal. I'm sorry. For Boston, not for Cleveland. Cleveland, they could have never dreamed. And by the way, a ripple effect here, Carmelo Anthony, Cleveland's not going to be able to go get Carmelo now. So if Carmelo goes anywhere, it's going to be to Houston. That's just the way it is right now. And
Houston doesn't want him either.
I mean, look, Houston's interested, but the problem is the Knicks want Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon was the sixth man of the year last year, and I'm not sure if Houston's going to go that far. So that seems like it's the hang up there. But, I kind of think now it might get done. I do. I kind of think it might because Cleveland's not in it anymore. So the Knicks might be like, oh, all right, we only got one team. Maybe we'll figure it out. But yeah, that ripple effect there is that the only team for Carmelo right now is Houston. That's the ripple effect. So we'll see. Wow, that was a curveball, that's for sure. Baseball wise, I'm going to be quick here because we spent a lot of time on that trade discussion. I want to talk about something a lot of you emailed about really quickly because I think it's an interesting thing. And I wasn't exactly happy with either. And that was what Joe Girardi did last night with Aaron Judge. Obviously, Aaron Judge's 37-game consecutive strikeout streak was a very big topic of discussion these last few weeks. It ended last night. Aaron Judge was removed in the seventh inning by Joe Girardi after he had 4 at-bats. Girardi kind of contradicted himself a little bit. He's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know about the whole. If you didn't know about, if you guys didn't keep bringing it up, we weren't even talking about focusing on the strikeout streak. We don't think about those things. Aaron doesn't. That's bullcrap. We know they do. Okay, but Girardi said, look, hey, look, he had 4 at bats. We're in the middle of a 16-game in a row stretch. He's been playing every game. Anytime I can rest him, we were up by 9 runs. Anytime I can rest him, I'm going to rest him. Those are good points. And look, Joe Girardi has had opportunities in the last couple weeks where he could have benched Aaron Judge and ended this. The biggest opportunity was against the Mets in the 9th inning. He could have pinch hit for Aaron Judge and stopped the streak right there. He did not. Now, granted, it was a closer game, but he could have. So here's the thing, okay? I'm going to just kind of give my piece on this. I don't like it because it does, for me, kind of feel like kind of manipulative in a way, I guess. But because it's a negative record, okay? If this were, and he mentioned this too last night, like if this was somebody going for a batting title or a triple crown or something like that, I would be going crazy about this because to me that's cheating. All right? But a negative record, a distinction that nobody really wants, a distinction that really you only talk about in a negative fashion, that kind of can play games with a player's mind. While I don't necessarily like taking them out because I think that there's something to be said for accomplishing it the right way, which is playing the whole 9 innings. I also understand the points too. It was a 9-run lead. You're in the middle of a big stretch of games. You're trying to get him some rest. He had 4 at-bats, which is usually you get 3 at-bats in the game. He had 1 more than that. So, I get it. I get it. I don't necessarily like it, but I get it. And if it was somebody fighting for a batting title or something, I would be going crazy. I think more people would be going crazy. Right now, it's just something that might not sit right with somebody, like, including me. It doesn't sit right with me. But to me, it's not that big of a deal. In that broad scheme of things. So I wanted to touch on that. Other than that, there's not much that can be said here. There's a lot of injuries going around baseball. The Red Sox did make a trade. They get Raja Davis in a deal with the Athletics. They have lost gosh, I can't think of his name. Jackie Bradley Jr. for at least 10 days. A lot of injuries across the league. Cleveland's banged up with injuries, including Andrew Miller. So that we'll see how that impacts things right now. As you look at the standings in baseball, things aren't much different right now as opposed to, the Yankees still 4.5 out right now in the East. Everybody else is not in play in the East. Cleveland's only got a 4-game lead on Minnesota, and it was hanging around in the Central. Minnesota's played very well, despite giving up on their season. Kansas City, 5.5 back there. The West, Angels are making some headway, but you're still 11.5 back on Houston. In the National League, the Nationals are 14 games up on Miami. That division's over. Cubs have expanded. I told you all I thought the Cubs would pull away. They're now 3.5 up on Milwaukee, 5 up on the Cardinals. And the Dodgers, we know, are gone. They're almost at 90 wins now. And as you look at the wild card, so really the only divisional race is the American League East and the American League Central. Those are the only two races, really. Because, I mean, the Cubs are only up 3.5, but I still think that that's pretty much going to be – I mean, it's close, but I think that'll be – by the end of the month, it'll be over. Wild card, Yankees are up 3 on the Twins. Angels half game out of the second wild card. Royals out a game and a half on the second wild card. Seattle 2 out. Rangers 3. Baltimore 4. Tampa 5. Toronto 5.5. So a lot of competition there. And the National League, the Rockies and the Diamondbacks are in a virtual tie for the first wild card. Brewers 3.5. Cardinals 5. Miami 6. Miami's still kind of hanging around there. Pittsburgh 8. You all know my feeling. If you get to September 1st, and you're within 5, you still have a chance. So that's kind of your goal right now, I think, if you're a lot of these teams. So the wild card races are very much still in play. AL East, AL Central, maybe NL Central, all still in play. So, you know, that I mean, there's not much that can be said there. I just want to give you all an update on the standings. Right now, as it stands, I think, you know, about a week out of August being over with. Obviously, you know the Nationals are going. Obviously, you know the Dodgers are going. The Cubs are going to go somehow, no matter what. I still think the NL is pretty much set. I think the Rockies and Diamondbacks both go. I don't think any of these other teams are strong enough to perform. As for the wild card, as I said, I think the NL is set. AL, Astros are gone. I still think Cleveland will hang on and win. The East, I like the Reds. I think right now I like the Red Sox only because I feel like they're winning a lot of games that they shouldn't, which I think always bodes well for a team. That wasn't happening early in the season. So I like the Red Sox win the division. I think the Yankees will take the first wild card. Honestly, I think the Angels will take the second. I do. I think the Angels have played very well since they took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees twice and then beat the Red Sox, I think 2 out of 3. They played extremely well. And they're playing good. They're playing good at home. So I like the Angels for that second spot. So, but yeah, I mean that's the way I see it right now. But I think it's going to be. You are going to have, I think, a few races down the stretch. Probably the American League wild card will be the most likely race that goes right down to the last week. Other than that, I mean, the only other race I could see maybe being that close enough to warrant being focused on the last week of the season, it might be the American League East. But other than that, I don't see any other races. So they'll both be in the American League, and that's kind of, I mean, the American League wild card has been fascinating all year. So it's not a surprise that would be the most interesting race. But I just want to give you all kind of a state of the MLB, where it is and what's going on kind of thing, because I feel like going down the stretch here, we should do that. And the biggest thing was when I talked about the Judson, because a lot of people email me about that. So that's all I really want to do at MLB. I know it's not really headlines or anything, but I felt like we should do that. One more thing before we move out of the sports realm here. McGregor Mayweather this weekend, Saturday. People have been asking me my thoughts on that. I think Mayweather's going to win convincingly. I mean, if McGregor ever beat Mayweather, that'd be huge. But I think Mayweather's going to win convincingly. There's not much you can say about it. It'll be a spectacle. But I think Mayweather wins easily. I mean, it's boxing, and Mayweather's so good at what he does. I mean, MMA fight would have been different. I think it would have been kind of fun to see that. But, you know, I think Mayweather wins convincingly. So just wanted to throw that out there. All right, so that's all. I know we didn't do a lot with sports. I kind of rushed through the baseball stuff. I just want really the judge thing is the only thing I want to talk about. But I want to jump into wrestling here really quick as we wind down the show here, because there is a lot here to mine. I'm going to be very quick with my thoughts. I'm sure Mike's going to have more than me. I thought NXT on Saturday was phenomenal. It might have been, I mean, it was probably, the best NXT show in a year for me. You had a great, all the matches were good, but obviously the Asuka match, and now we know she's injured, and we'll see how that plays, was obviously a highlight. That was a phenomenal match. It doesn't look like they're going to take the title off her. It looks like they're just going to ignore the 30-day rule and keep it on her, but we'll see. But yeah, that was a great match. And then Rude and Drew McIntyre had a hell of a match with Drew winning. And then, of course, the Adam Cole debut, which got everybody talking. Very well done. Very, very good show. Very good show. Nice to have JR and Corey Graves make appearances. It's a very good show from top to bottom. SummerSlam. Wow. First of all, you know, it totally appeared like they were going out of the way to F with the odds because, you know, so many of the matches were against the odds. But the matches that were on the pre-show, I thought a lot of the matches were pretty good. Unfortunately, some of them were rushed through. The pre-show matches were all pretty good. All right, the Cesaro thing was stupid. If you weren't going to put the title on, you should not have put the title on him. I mean, great that you gave it to him for 1 week, but still, dumb move, especially since it seemed like they only did it for TV reasons. Good match, but hated what they did to Cesaro there. The New Day Uso match was great. It should have been on the main card. It was great. I don't like New Day losing, but man, that was a good match. And then you had what was done to Miz and the Hardys and Jason Jordan and the Miztourage. That was wrong. Okay, look, I don't know what WWE was thinking. The fans should have been in the building. You shouldn't let those guys go out to a match in front of essentially an empty audience. Terrible thing that they did there. Surprised Miz got the pin on Jason Jordan clean. I'm happy Miz got a clean pin. But, you know, I mean, good match, but what they did to them was horrible. The main card, look, a lot of the matches were fine. The Big Cass, Big Show, Enzo thing was really bad. Horrible. Natalya, Naomi was good for what it was. Good for Natalya. That was a nice little moment there. John Cena pretty much buried Baron Corbin. We all know what happened there. I'm not going to get into it, but that was what it was. Randy Orton Rusev was an embarrassment. I'm sorry. It should have been at least a match. I know they had to cut down time. There's a number of ways they could have done that. You know, stick another match on the pre-show or something. I mean, that was just terrible what they did to Rusev there. You know, Ambrose Rollins match with Sheamus and Cesaro was good. The beach ball spot was a good thing from Cesaro, although it led to a lot of bad stuff on Monday. And I don't know if you heard, Mike, but WWE has officially banned beach balls permanently.
Good.
But then again, Cena also encouraged it Monday night after Raw, which was a dumb move on his part. John Cena just doesn't care, so I guess we shouldn't be surprised. But I don't know what he was thinking there. The management was probably really pissed off at him about that. But yeah, Cesaro had a good spot there, but it kind of encouraged the activity. So I guess in hindsight, but that was a great match, great moment with Rollins Ambrose. Balor Wyatt was fine. It accomplished what it needed to. It was a moment. Owen Styles did exactly what it was supposed to. Good match. Maybe a little too many ref bumps, but you had to get the thing over. So I guess it had to happen. Nakamura and Mahal was terrible. I don't blame Nakamura there. Just the whole thing was terrible. And how you have Mahal go over Nakamura there after you put Nakamura over Cena, I don't know. Complete and to have the same. I mean, here's the problem: you keep doing the same finish with the Jinder Mahal matches.
Every time.
I mean, it's lazy. At least think of something new. God. And then you have the main event, which we talked about this. The main event's going to make people forget about a lot of the awfulness. You know? And maybe it did, because I've seen a lot of people kind of tone down their negativity after they saw the main event. The main event was fantastic. First of all, you got to give props to all four guys. They all did their thing. They all look like stars. Braun Strowman was the star. And that was because Lesnar sold for him. The bumps he took, the storyline they told, Paul Heyman's fingerprints were all over the match. It was a very well done match. Even though Brock retained, it really set up Braun Strowman really well. Had a lot of good moments. Roman taking the pin was a complete shock. I'm very happy though, because it protects Joe. But I thought the match was really, really good. And then you go to Raw Monday. Raw was okay. Some great moments. The Ambrose Rollins Hardy Boy thing was very good. The beach ball stuff was an embarrassment. Fans should be ashamed. That's why I'm glad they banned beach balls. And John Cena was wrong to do what he did after Raw, because that was stupid. Because a lot of the other guys were mad, and that couldn't have endeared the locker room to John Cena, because a lot of those guys were mad. And for him to go out there and encourage that was ridiculous. But But yeah, so you had some good stuff on the show. They continued the Sasha Alexa Bliss thing. What else was there? The Cena Reigns thing was good. Although Cena was. I thought, in hindsight, I thought Cena was terrible Monday. Even worse than usual. No selling everything. And just kind of acting like he didn't care. That whole thing was bad. Cena was bad there. I thought. Miz was on fire. I thought Miz was very good. Brock Braun at the beginning of the show was a hot start. I thought they did a very good job there, setting up that program. And then the main event was all right. It just dragged on way too long. It was, but it looks like they're going with Cena, Joe, and Reigns, Miz. I know if some people think they're going to do Cena Reigns soon, do Brock Roman at WrestleMania. I don't understand how you can do that. Brock pin Roman clean, and you don't do Cena Reigns at a B-level pay-per-view, or I don't even know if you do it at Survivor Series, once you're going to do a follow-up. So not really sure, but Raw was okay. The high point I thought was the beginning of the night, more or less. And then SmackDown comes along, and SmackDown had the better week. Bobby Roode's debut was fantastic. The Aiden English thing was weird, and they did present Bobby more as a face. Even his interview afterwards was more face-like, and maybe it was because of the Poppy guy. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to stick to it or not. If they do, it makes things interesting, because if that's the case, I wonder what they're going to do with that. But, we'll see. But Rude was good. I actually like Aiden English's gimmick. I think it's getting him over, so I kind of like his new gimmick. But the Owen style stuff in the main event, SmackDown got its – Mike's going to kind of tout this, but SmackDown got its biggest audience since April. So that's kind of, Owens AJ was the main event with Shane and Baron Corbin. So goes to show you they didn't need Cena to get the audience. But great main event there. Really set up the Owens Shane stuff and maybe even AJ Corbin stuff very well. I thought the show moved along very well last night. They had Shelton Benjamin come back to team up with Chad Gable. I thought it was a very good SmackDown. I thought they had a decent week. SummerSlam was very hit or miss. Raw was okay. SmackDown was good. NXT was good. All in all, I think they had a decent week. Obviously, there was some bad news on a couple of levels. Big Cass is out. It's probably going to be like a 9-month injury. It looks like an ACL is going to get a second opinion. We'll see. Enzo gets moved to 205 Live. No, that's not bad news, but it's probably bad news for him, because that shows you that, that's going to be his career for better or worse. They're not probably going to do much with him else than being in the cruiserweight division. So it looks like he's going to be Neville's next challenger. So we'll see how that goes. Asuka, as I mentioned, is hurt. We don't know how. It looks like she's going to be gone for 6 to 8 weeks. Looks like they're going to keep the title on her. We'll see. But 6 to 8 weeks, broken collarbone. So a couple bad things for them. Looks like Lesnar's going to stick around. I don't know about anything with UFC since John Jones got a drug test issue. We'll see how that impacts things going forward here. But, yeah, so very busy week, but I think more good than bad for WWE. Mike, any thoughts?
Let's see. Oh, sorry. My table. NXT was fantastic. They had another great show. Highlighted by the Asuka Ember Moon match, which was marvelous. Asuka sacrificed her collarbone championship. Through every storyline from the first match, Asuka throwing the referee in front of her and Ember Moon actually hitting the Eclipse this time. It was a big match. Asuka is 1 in a million. 1 in a million. And she's not going to lose that title. Not going to lose that title. She's going to come up to the main roster because she was unbeatable, and I think depending on where she goes, she will continue to be unbeatable. I think she'll end up on Raw at some point, though. I think she was probably supposed to debut earlier, but broken collarbone kind of puts things off for like a couple of weeks. 8 weeks. SummerSlam was a mixed bag. Stuff, and Miz has every right to be frustrated and pissed off. And treat him very well. Or the Hardy Boys or the rest of the Miztourage. essentially an empty arena match. That was embarrassing. And yeah, and when Miz came out and highlighted it, every right to be frustrated and mad. And they had the stupid beach ball too. Ugh. SummerSlam had a few good moments. A few. The rest of the show was eh. Shane McMahon, AJ Styles thing was fantastic at SummerSlam. It advanced the Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon story really well. See where Kevin Owens would be frustrated. And he brought up a lot of points on Tuesday that he brought up. So when AJ Styles, he counted 3 when Kevin Owens' shoulder was up the whole time, that decision counted. Shane McMahon counts 3. AJ Styles, Shane McMahon counted 3. Why didn't that decision stand? And Shane McMahon essentially kind of walked around it. It was like it was one of his biggest points. And it did great. Kevin Owens and AJ Styles have been having good matches. People are like, I'm sick of this storyline. No, you're not. You're just being lazy and entitled. They're going out here having good work, and you're just being a bitch about it. But it's not Miz Ambrose. Stop complaining. Besides, they had the blow-off match on SmackDown, and we'll get to that immediately. We'll get to that soon. Owens versus AJ Styles for the U.S. title was a fantastic match. Controversy wasn't too overbooked, though. The Shield guys versus the Bar, probably the best pure match on the show. Great tag team wrestling. Interesting. Had to go to Ambrose and Roman. Good, great match. Very invested in that. And yeah, Cesaro tearing apart the beach ball. Fucking great moment. Emboldened the fans the next night? Probably. And the guys are mad. And because here's the thing, if it's a shit match and again the guys don't care, yeah, do the wave.
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
They're in there working their ass off and putting on a good match. How dare you fucking bring out the beach ball? That's disrespectful to the wrestlers. I even show up at SummerSlam then.
Right.
Up at Raw. Other people who wouldn't do that stupid shit were better off with that ticket. Cesaro for fucking tearing up that beach ball. Talia winning was a great moment. I thought that title had to get off. Losing the title to Sasha Banks. I know they have to put the title on Sasha Banks. Move forward. I feel like we're right back to Bliss because at this point there's absolutely no benefit with having Sasha Banks as a champion. No benefit whatsoever. Promos have been not great recently. And the ad too much. Her attitude, look, how you present your attitude. Bliss attitude's endearing. Attitude comes off as arrogance, and it's not that great. Bobby Roode's problem is going to be, but Bobby Roode is not. Sasha Banks has a lot of stories.
Yeah.
A lot of fan stories, right? I'm not going to get into that. You can look that up if you want. I don't agree with that. I think Alexa should have won. That's neither here nor there. The Nakamura Jinder stuff is absolute trash. Absolute trash. Every Jinder match, and it's getting kind of stale now. Because the only match where Jinder has wrestled, he lost clean to Randy Orton. I think you're going to get a match where Shinsuke Nakamura just ends up wrestling clean, probably at the next pay-per-view, maybe in a couple of weeks. Shinsuke is going to end up with the title. No reason to keep the title on Jinder past this. The main event made Braun Strowman a huge star. Braun Strowman is a mega star. He was the one who manhandled Brock. Going with Brock retaining, but they're probably not going to have him for Survivor Series, so it might as well. Braun one-on-one. I'm looking forward to that. Raw was a couple moments ago. Miz's promo was great. Really great. The Cena stuff, the Cena Roman Reigns stuff was interesting. Think what John Cena is. When he gets kind of in the mood, and I totally seen a Corbin match because there wasn't much to talk about.
Right.
Where like I don't care what's going on, so I'm gonna act more exaggerated than usual. Ha ha ha! I'm gonna treat you as a joke. I'm gonna treat this as a joke. It takes a while for Cena to get out of that. It takes a long while for Cena to get out of that. So it kind of hurts everything in the meantime. It hurt it here too. What else on Raw? The Shield versus the Hardys is a good match. You could tell Finn Balor was pissed off. Match out of Jason Jordan, and he tried to laugh about it on Twitter, and good for him. Finn's a good dude, but you could tell he was. And that's a guy people like, by the way. And the Braun Strowman stuff and Braun Strowman Brock Lesnar stuff at the top of the show was absolutely great. Those were literally the only things worthwhile noting. Fantastic. SmackDown was fantastic. The Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Shane McMahon segment from the beginning of the show was intense as all hell. It was friggin' great. The match at the end, Kevin Owens going around trying to find a referee. I like the segments. It puts Sami Zayn back in Kevin Owens' orbit. Something there, and I like it. Because whenever Owens and Zayn get together, magic happens. Corbin gets to be the ref. I texted you last night. Baron Corbin made for a really effective and good referee.
He did.
And then it made Shane McMahon for coming down. Corbin was doing a legit good job as a referee.
Who knew?
He wasn't trying to screw over. He wasn't trying to screw over AJ Styles. Baron Corbin had a U.S. title way, which was the funny thing. He made the deal with Owens,
right,
to kind of wrestle him. First crack at Owens is if Owens won the U.S. title, he could get first crack. And AJ Styles is content with having these open challenges. Baron Corbin should come out one week and challenge AJ Styles. Didn't have a horse in the race. He actually refereed it down the middle. It was very cool. And Shane McMahon came out because it was nonsense, which resulted in him screwing Kevin Owens after Kevin Owens tried to cheat. Because it was like Shane McMahon pulls him out of the ring. He's like, "You low-blowed him." And Baron's like, "I don't care. Let me do my job." And then he walks away. Shane McMahon counts, screws Kevin Owens over. That feud's going to be intense. And Bobby Roode stuff was just glorious.
Yeah.
I stayed in English. He's going to transition back to a heel really soon. And they're going to build up Nakamura Jinder for the title. So, better show this week, 100%. So there, wrestling, frustrating.
Yeah, I think there was more positive than negative, to be honest. But yeah, there was a lot, and we got through it. So look forward here. Now we go into the fall. We start. I know people think it really starts at Survivor Series, but really the build starts at SummerSlam now. The build to WrestleMania really is started now. So, obviously, we'll talk about it throughout the fall as we build here. So I want to acknowledge something really quickly because it's a sad story, and I was just reminded of it. But we want to send out our thoughts and prayers to Dana Brooke because that news broke on Monday. Her boyfriend, Dallas McCarver, who's a bodybuilder, was found dead on, was it yesterday morning, Tuesday morning? Tuesday morning. I think it was 26, I believe. And so very young, and just a very big shock. And, she posted some wonderful stuff, wonderful message, and obviously a very sad message too, but very heartwarming message on, I think it was her Instagram, about it. And this was very sad to read it, but very beautiful words she wrote, and it's just a sad, sad story. So we want to send out our thoughts and condolences to her and all of Dallas's family, friends, and loved ones. May he rest in peace. That's a sad tragedy, and it was a true shock. And she was on Raw Monday in a backstage segment, and then you hear this news on Tuesday morning. It's just a complete shock, and your heart goes out to her and Dallas's family, friends, and loved ones. That's a horrible, horrible story, and just wanted to make sure we know that. That's terrible news. So just wanted to make sure we know that. I was just reminded of it when I was looking at some wrestling stuff, and I saw the old story. I just wanted to make sure we noted that. All right. With that being said, we have gotten through everything. So that is it for tonight. As always, the show might be over. It's something you have to stop interacting, contributing to our show. Continue to have your voice heard by emailing us, Facebooking us, or tweeting us your thoughts, reactions, comments, things we talked about on the show, reactions, things we said, things we did, any topic ideas or breaking news items from sports, entertainment, or wrestling that you want us to cover. Questions about the show and the scheduling of the show, your general feedback, any of this you can do by email, Facebook, and Twitter. Again, any questions about the TV awards, you can do by email, Facebook, and Twitter. Any submissions by email only. Please keep that in mind. So email address for the show, itspotlight411@gmail.com. You can also follow us and tweet us at itspotlight411. Please remember to use the hashtag itspotlight411 for anything we tweet regarding our show. And, of course, you can find us on Facebook. Just search for the Spotlight 411 on Facebook, and then make sure you like our page once you find it, once you're on it. Again, we encourage you to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest information about the show, especially when it comes to scheduling. Just like yesterday, there was last-minute postponement. If there's any last-minute postponements or delays, we always try to let you know by social media, so make sure you follow us. Of course, we also post random thoughts on social media as well, so make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to search for In the Spotlight 411. Again, search for In the Spotlight 411. You'll be able to do all that and keep up to date on our show and all that good stuff. So make sure that you do all that. There's two ways in which to keep up with the show and look back at classic episodes. You can either stream us anytime on Google Plus or YouTube. Just search for In the Spotlight 411 on either one of those sites, and you'll have access to every episode we've ever produced for Google Plus and YouTube. That's every episode from October 2015 all the way up into tonight's most recent episode. They're all available to you to stream anytime you wish on Google Plus and YouTube. Just search for In the Spotlight 411. If you're more of a fan of listening, maybe you don't like to see us on screen, maybe you want to listen to us on the go, maybe you're interested in older episodes of the show, if any of that applies to you, make sure that you check us out on our main host sites, Podbean and iTunes, to search for In the Spotlight 411 on both those sites. And once you do, you'll have access to our show pages on both sites, which means you'll have access to every episode we've ever produced in the nearly 7 years we've been doing the show. That's everything from our original Blog Talk Radio run from October 2010 to January 2011. Everything from our talk show run from January 2011 all the way up into mid-October of 2015. And, of course, all of our Google Plus and YouTube episodes from mid-October of 2015 all the way up into tonight's most recent episode. All those episodes transfer into audio format for your convenience. They're all available for you anytime you want. All those episodes in order from the most recent date, which is tonight, all the way to the oldest, way back in October 2010. You can access them anytime you want on Podbean and iTunes. Just search for In the Spotlight 411. Again, search for In the Spotlight 411 on Podbean and iTunes. So Google Plus, YouTube, Podbean, iTunes. Always keep up the show and look back at classic episodes. Google Plus, YouTube, Podbean, iTunes. Always keep up the show and look back at classic episodes. Search for In the Spotlight 411. Again, search for In the Spotlight 411. As always, want to thank Mike for being here tonight. Thank you, Mike.
Real quick. The story about Dana Brooke, and we do send our condolences. That's a huge loss. If you want to see a video that's going to make you cry in a good way, Cricket Wireless did release this video with John Cena reading thank you letters. Every single thank you letter, and he watches the video about how his message kind of saved all these people. Not just saved, inspired, and kind of motivated them to keep going. Part is every single one of those people who sent him a thank you letter was actually there, and they all surprised him.
No.
It'll make you cry.
That's pretty cool.
And it kind of really highlights the dude John Cena really is.
Well, that's really
I
cool.
highly recommend that you watch that.
I'll have to look at it.
That's just it will legitimately, and I'm using the word accurately here, I feel. It will legitimately make you cry.
I have to check it out.
Because it is very heartwarming. It is one of the coolest videos I've seen all week. And yes, it is in fact time for bed.
And of course, I want to thank myself for another great show. Parents on my back, and thank all of you for your continued support and contributions to the show. Thank you so much for watching. Those that'll be watching or listening to us later in archive, thank you to you as well. Apologize for the technical problems earlier, and of course for last night's postponement. Again, next week, one show, Tuesday, 9 o'clock from Eastern Time. Very important day. 2 deadlines, both at 9 o'clock from Eastern Time. This Tuesday, August 29th. Winning ballots for the TV awards due. Live award nomination submissions due. Both due 9 o'clock Tuesday, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Make sure you got those in. There will be no exceptions at all. So get them in 9 o'clock from Eastern this Tuesday. That is also the start time for our only show of next week. Of course, that's, again, next Tuesday, August the 29th. We will do all our usual stuff, sports, TV highlights, box office beats, wrestling, all that good stuff on Tuesday. And then the following week, we're back to our normal schedule. We got TV awards, all kinds of good stuff coming up. A couple surprises too, maybe not. We'll see. Until then, I hope you all, until next Tuesday, I should say, not until then. That's 2 weeks away. So my schedule is all fucked up in my head. But all right, so until Tuesday, I hope you have a great weekend, great start to week next week. We'll see you Tuesday night, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, have a good night, everybody.